In the eyes of some, I'm not independent because of my past PAP links. But if Singaporeans look deeper into my past parliamentary debates and the actions I took inside and outside the House, I hope they see a man who will stand up for what he believes is the right thing to do. Look at my record. For example, apart from asking the government to tone down the foreign talent policy, I voted against my party despite the whip not lifted. You see, if I see Singaporean interest is compromised, I will make a stand. Thus, I voted against the nominated Member of Parliament scheme because I see it as a scheme to bring in non-elected members into Parliament. To me, this is not right, because MPs must be elected, must seek the approval of the electorate to gain a place in Parliament. And as NMPs are not elected, but just appointed, they have no accountability to anyone but themselves. When I participated in the debate, I knew my party's stand. I knew my party's interests. But my choice here is clear. National interest over party interest. That's why I have to vote against my party. The nation comes first. When I see something is wrong, I will tell you. Recently, you might have read in the papers I resigned as a board director of a hospital. I was tasked to build this hospital. I was given $970 million to build this hospital. Then one day I found that the name of this hospital, which is a public institution, the name was changed because somebody contributed $125 million, which is 1/10 of the total cost of building of this hospital. Now, to me, it doesn't make sense. There must be a level of thanks when we want to say thank you to people who make contributions. And I'm not saying the $125 million is little, it's a big sum. But the level of thanks must be in proportion to the total cost of building the hospital. I would have preferred the hospital to be named after people like our past presidents, philanthropists, or Singaporeans who have made great impact on our lives. So I had to resign on a point of principle. I will offer myself as a candidate if I'm awarded the COE, just handed in today. I have checked, and my lawyers have also checked. I have the qualifications to meet the stringent criteria laid out in the Presidential Election Act. When I get my COE, I will let Singaporeans know of what I want to do should I get elected. So today's press briefing is to let Singaporeans know why I joined in the presidential debate and to give a background of the principles I stand for. To sum up, Tan Cheng Bock will think Singaporeans first. Thank you. Now you will have a chance to see my CV. If I refer you to the press kit under my CV, you will have a look at what I have been doing. I'm a medical doctor since 1968, 26 years as Member of Parliament, 21 years charity involvement, 20 years corporate chairman, 15 years foreign relations. I was the leader of the Singapore Parliamentary Southeast Asian Committee group and also Singapore-Europe community parliamentary group. Now these two portfolios that I held for for a long time requires me to go overseas to meet foreigners, to hold discussions with our neighbors, especially ASEAN countries, and also to meet very, very interesting potential presidents in this area. So I've met many potential presidents. President Megawati, Gushdu, and many others. Well, my education background, I come from a simple, a rural school, a neighborhood school called Redimar School. But fortunately, I was lucky enough to go to Raffles. And from Raffles, I went to do my medical degree. Now, presently, I'm a medical director of my own little clinic. I'm still chairman of Chuan Up Holdings. And I also chair a Dredging International Asia Pacific company, which is a very big multinational company with its base in Netherlands. And they are one of the world's largest in the dredging business in Europe. I'm chairing the subsidiary company here. Then, of course, I also a director of PCI, which is a part of Chuan Hub. And I'm president of Jurong Country Club. So I see some of my Jurong Country Club people here. Thank you. My past corporate appointments, if you look into it, I was 2 years in the ING private banking. I'm sure all of you must have heard of ING Bank. The F1 formula, we sponsored it. But I was there only for 2 years because we sold the bank later to OCBC, which is still a local bank, so it's all right. Then, of course, I was in Jurong Health Service and the other small little companies. But Jurong Health Service, I have to resign for reasons I've just told you. Now, my political profile, you can see my performance in the political arena. Now, my past performance, I think that one of my greatest, I would say, postings that I was given was one when I was the first feedback chief. Being the first feedback person, I've had the opportunity to engage Singaporeans at every level, professional, the ordinary man in the street, and it was a really enjoyable stint. It took away a lot of my energy because every Singaporean wanted to see me. So you can imagine when I hold feedback sessions, it's always, I think, very, very packed, much more packed than this room. I was the town council chairman for a few towns. I usually start it, but after starting it, I think I always let some other younger MPs to take over. So I was chairman of town councils, I was chairman of CDCs, and I think there's a lot to just go through. Now, in Parliament, I was the coordinating chairman of all the GPCs when I first started. It was a very interesting thing because during my time, that was the first time when the GPCs were introduced. And it was a good experience because you get posted to many different ministries. So I was in education, I was in environment, I was in communication, I was not in health, national development. I avoided health because being a doctor, I don't want to be seen. I have some particular interest there. Now, as I said, my parliamentary appointments, the Singapore European Parliamentary Group and the Singapore Southeast Asian Parliamentary Group, yes, these were the groups that I have to head, and I have to meet all those dignitaries I told you about. Transport, yes, I was party to the construction of the mass rapid transit system. I'm a builder, I'm not an operator. So I just build the system. But don't think how come a medical doctor has got involved in this area of engineering. But trust me, after a while, any one of you who know how to build a train. It's quite simple. When we were kids, we were building trains. Charity organizations, yes, I was very involved in charity organizations. I was with the Shao Foundation. It's a very interesting foundation. I think you all must get to know this foundation. I'm not advertising for them. They don't need to advertise. But I must say they did a wonderful job. They are trying to rehabilitate some of our older Singaporeans. And I think it's good that you all take a notice of this particular organization. Now, Center for the Third Age, we're trying to find something for people like me. I'm a third age. I think, a few of us here are third age. Fourth age, don't talk, okay? Fourth age, not so good. But third age is a challenge because how are you going to get these people to enjoy life, not to be so fixed in the way of life? Because sometimes people, when they retire, they just retire and they don't want to do anything else. We try to rehabilitate all this. I've been a past advisor to so many organizations, banks, enterprise promotion, credit counseling. Yes, credit counseling. I was asked to help credit counseling by the courts, the subordinate court lawyers. They were very kind because they were so tired of imposing penalties and sentencing all these people with credit defaults. So they asked me to see whether I can help them to organize this particular credit counseling for all the younger Singaporeans who were in severe credit debt. Yes, the others are the unions. I have to be involved. Is one FBIWU. This is a food and beverage union. Now it is closed already. And of course, I'm a football fan, but my poor Jurong Football Club, I'm sorry, now no longer exists. I must search for Suran Muti to see whether we can get this club going again. Medical appointments is a very old medical appointments. When I started as a doctor and I went into, when they invited me to see what I can do for the medical associations, so you can see for yourself some of the things that I've done in the medical side. I'm primarily now, I'm the chairman of the trustee of the SMA. And for my work in the medical field, they have honored me with a lot of awards. They have made me the Srinivasan Orator, which is a very, I'm quite honored to be given that, to deliver that speech. And the college made me a fellow of the college, which is an honorable thing too. Then I've been honored also by quite a number of our clubs here. And I'm also one of those honored 100 reflections between 1823 and 2003. Hobbies, music. I don't know anyone of you play ukulele? Well, see, nobody put our hand. I presume not. Either you have not heard of this little instrument, but I can tell it's a very relaxing instrument. Gardening, yes, that's fine. Very good. I used to keep golf, yes. I'm the president of Jurong Country Club. They call me the worst president golfer because I'm a terrible golfer. But I was invited to go to Jurong Country Club to see whether I can do something to the club. And I think the club is coming up quite nicely. I used to keep kois. Kois, these Japanese cups, but I think it's too dangerous for my grandchildren. I got to have this pond that is so deep, and my grandchildren, they're all running around, jumping around the pond, too risky. I don't want anything to happen, so I have to close the pond.